everybody, welcome back to Mariana Handcrafts. I'm Josh, and today I'm going to be turning a Diva pen. This one's a gift from my sister-in-law. I've got the kit right here. I've already got the tube out and ready to go. And I'm going to use this acrylic blank. This is from Exotic Blanks, and it's pink, and it's called Marble Look. So I've already made a couple pens with these blanks, and they turn really well. And so I think this one's going to go pretty smooth. But let me get the camera moved over. We'll go ahead and get this blank drilled out, get the tube glue in, and we'll go from there. Alright, so I've got the blank mounted up in my, my jig here, and got that all tightened down. So what we're going to do, and this is a little trick I picked up last time I was at the Rockler store. The gentleman working there, I don't know his name, but he gave me a fantastic tip for doing these acrylic blanks. If you've ever drilled these, you know, as they get close to the bottom, as the bit gets close to going through, they often chip out, and I've had them break halfway up, and sometimes the whole blank is ruined. So even with the sharp bit, that seems to happen. So this gentleman said, hey, why don't you just, you know, set your stop on your drill press so that the press stops about 1/8 of an inch before it breaks through, and then just saw it off on your bandsaw. And so I've been doing that the last couple pens that I made, and it's worked really well. So I've got this bit all nice and sharpened up, and I just center these up by eye, kind of go both ways, and that looks pretty good right there. So here we go. Looks like my bit is slipping just a little bit. We'll tighten up my chuck. And there we go. It's very important when you're drilling out these acrylic blanks that you clear the chips like that. Otherwise, you get some crazy heat buildup in there, and it can cause a lot of problems. The biggest one is it'll make that hole a little bit too big, and when you go to glue your tube in, you won't be able to center it, and it's just kind of a headache. So make sure you clear the chips pretty often, and you get a nice hole like that, and no chip out or anything. So we're going to go over to the bandsaw here, and we'll just trim off that last 1/8 of an inch, and then we'll be good to glue this tube in. Alright, we're over here at the bandsaw, and I've got my little cross-cut sled here. So I'm just going to start off, take about 1/8 of an inch. That's all there is to it. So that obviously wasn't the most precise way to do that. Could have gotten my caliper, you know, got a depth measurement there, but just a few little cuts, and there we go. Perfect hole. Let me swing you around here. We'll get this tube glued in. Alright, so we got our blank here, and pre-test fit that. It's a perfect hole. A little bit, just a tad loose on this side, but I do want to point out, this was a single 5.5 or 6 inch blank. I cut in half to get 2 pens out of it. So this one ended up being very close. So I'm probably not going to be able to barrel trim this one. If I do, I'll just take a little bit off the surface to make sure that's trued up. But usually, you know, you like to give yourself a 1/16 or 1/8 of an inch on either side. So when you glue that in and trim it with the barrel trimmer, then you get a nice, you know, make sure you have a nice surface that's perpendicular to your pen tube. So just wanted to point that out. But there's a lot of ways you can glue in a tube. The way I do it, I take my little pliers here, just kind of hold it like that, get my tube ready, and I have my little glue block. You can see lots of coats of CA on there. So I've got my medium CA here, and I just go ahead and get a nice coat all around this pen tube here. These PSI kits are nice because the tubes come pre-scuffed up. They sand them a little bit, so you don't have to rough them up with sandpaper. Once I have it coated, give it a little in and out. And then for this one, because it's close, I got to be real careful on both sides here. And I think that'll work right like that. Careful not to glue your pliers to the blank. So if you want, you can give it a little hit with the activator. It's all it takes, one little quick spray. And there we go. Like I said, I don't think I'll be able to barrel trim this. I might just barely touch it just to clean that up a little bit. On this Diva kit, I don't think it'll matter even if we lose a little bit of length. So let's head back over to the drill press. We will go ahead and bump that with the barrel trimmer, and then we'll get ready to turn. Alright guys, here we are back over at the drill press. I've got my barrel trimmer in there with a 3/8 bit, and we'll go ahead and we're just going to barely touch this to make sure we have a parallel surface there. There we have it. Just like I said, just barely nicked that. Usually have a lot more material there to chew away at. And I'm going to hit this with my chamfering tool just real quick here. Make sure we don't have any rough edges in there. So there you have it. Nice true blank. Alright, turn around and get set up on the lathe here, and we'll get this thing turned down. Alright guys, I've got my blank mounted up here on my mandrel with the Diva bushings with the few spacers on either side, and got my lathe turned all the way up just over 3,000 RPMs. For these acrylic blanks, I've found success using my EasyWood Tools Mini, the round carbide cutter. This seems to work best for the acrylic. When I do wood blanks, you'll see in future videos, I like using the square scraper, which is that one there. But again, for the acrylic, I have found that the round scraper works best. So let me get my vacuum turned on, and we'll go ahead and turn this down. Getting there. We're pretty close now. I like that shape, just a little bit of a roundness to it, and I just have a little bit more on the ends here. I'm always real cautious. The ends are the most important part. If you leave those too big, the blank just does not look right when you assemble the pen. So I take a lot of care to try to get the ends right to the bushing, or as close as I can. This side's just a little off center, so I'm going to take this side down a little bit, but in general we're there. So let me just take a little bit more off this side, and then we'll go ahead and get this polished up and assembled. Alright, so we're there, like I said, nice round shape. We're right at the bushing on both sides. And, you know, no ridges or anything like that. If you take your time, even with that little round scraper, you can get a real nice finish. And I'm going to go ahead and sweep up all these chips here, and then I'll show you how I do my polishing. From here, I don't even use sandpaper. If I take my time and get a nice finish, I go straight to the polishing system that I have, and so we'll show you that next. Be right back. Alright, we're back at the lathe here. I've got my speed turned way down to the lowest setting this lathe goes, which I think is around 750 RPMs. And I've got my micro mesh polishing pieces here with a little bit of water. I always put some paper towel under there just in case any water splashes. You don't want to get water on your ways, they'll rust. As you can see, I've got a little bit of surface rust here to clean up. But backed off my vacuum system, and we're just going to go in order, and you'll see how well this polishes up. I've not touched this with sandpaper. This is right after I finished using the Easy Wood carbide scraper there, so you don't have to sand this if you take your time with those tools. Alright, here we go. The first grit, which is 1500, I usually take the longest with. Just again, this is the roughest grit, so it's going to clean up any tiny imperfections that you may have from turning. So I spend a little bit more time on this one than the others. You'll see once we get past here, we're just going to cruise right along. Next is green, and this is 1800 grit. And then we'll do our black, which is 2400. Next we've got tan, which is 3200. I don't know these off by heart, by the way. I've got a little cheat sheet up, so. And then we go to our wine color. Try to keep my hand out of the way, sorry about that. And next is teal, which is 4000 grit. And these last few here are really, I mean, when you touch them, there's not really any grit to them. They just get super fine, and that's what gives the acrylic an amazing finish, and a nice shiny finish. This is the purple at 6000 grit. Then we go to the blue, which is 8000. And we finish on the gray, which is basically nothing, just a polishing grit. They call it 12,000. I've heard some turners on YouTube say that this grit system does not coincide with the normal sandpaper grit system. I don't know if that's true or not. It seems like it would be true to me. You know what I mean? This feels, you know, maybe a little bit finer than 600 grit, so 1500 seems like it would be close anyway. But so that's that. I'm just going to get this dried up, and we've got just a beautiful glass mirror-like finish on there. And so we'll get this dried off and off the lathe, and we'll go ahead and assemble this pen. Alright, we're over here with our pen press, and just getting ready to go ahead and assemble this one. A lot of these PSI kits are very simple, and this one is no exception. We're just going to press the tip part in first. And I like to use a little old credit card here between the metal part of the press and my pen blank, my pen tube. So just going to press that in nice and easy. We got a nice fit up here. We'll go ahead and get this one pressed in. I think this goes in this way. Need some more space. Oh, get the credit card. Nice and easy. These acrylic blanks will crack if you push that in too fast. I've had it happen. So take your time and push those in nice and slow so the tube can expand nice and slow. So that's it for this one. Most of these PSI kits are pretty simple to assemble, and this one is no exception. So just get our mechanism screwed in here. And then this one just press fits on the back end like that. And we've got a good looking pen. So that's the Diva pen by PSI, Penn State Industries. And it's a really beautiful pen. There's a little jewel hanging off the end. This is the rose gold and chrome, I think, or maybe it's rose gold and gunmetal, I can't remember. But it's just a beautiful pen kit. They're very easy to turn, very easy to assemble. And I think my sister-in-law is really going to like that. I turned one very similar to this for my sister for her birthday. And so I thought I'd turn one for my sister-in-law as a thank you. And I think she's really going to like that one. So thanks for tuning in, guys. There it is, and we'll see you next time.